Today we're going to be taking a look at Crysis Remastered, and I will let you know if it's worth playing or not. My name is Pterodactyl, and if you like this video then please give it a like and subscribe for more. Thank you to Crytek for providing me with a key for this game, but it will in no way affect my review. And if you pick up this game or any other game on the Epic Store, then please consider using my creator code Pterodactyl86 as it helps to support the channel. Crysis Remastered is a remaster of the original Crysis that came out in late 2007, and it melted PCs worldwide with its crazy graphics. It was made by Crytek and published by EA. Crytek also handled the remaster along with Saber Interactive. The story follows a squad of soldiers who wear nanosuits that give them special abilities, and they are trying to rescue some scientists from an island after North Korea has invaded it. So Crysis is a first-person shooter, and yes, you have several special abilities given to you by your nanosuit. You have super strength, which lets you melee attack with more power, pick up and throw heavy objects. Super speed, which lets you sprint fast. Armor mode, which gives you better defense against bullets and explosions. And finally, cloak, which makes you near invisible. This lets you play the game in a variety of ways, since you can just go all out guns blazing or try to be really sneaky. The levels are all pretty large as well, which really feels like it's leaning into a sneaky playstyle because there are so many different ways you can get into enemy compounds. Also, despite having this nanosuit, you feel kind of fragile, which again feels like the game is pushing you down a stealth route. There's also a strange issue with just sprinting in the game. If you sprint, it automatically enables the super sprint, which drains your suit's energy. This can lead you to running into a group of enemies, finding yourself low on energy, so armor mode doesn't last long and then you die. The only way I could find to sprint normally was to fully drain my energy, then sprint, or sprint in armor mode, but armor mode constantly drains energy anyway. There's no key binding to separate sprint and super sprint, so it's a bit broken. Also, the game has no quick save. It relies on an old, terrible checkpoint system from the original game. So you can find yourself losing a bit of progress and being pushed back quite a bit. I found myself in a situation where I snuck round the back into an enemy base, got killed and got pushed way back. Then I decided to do a full frontal guns blazing assault, and when I got to the front of the base before I started shooting, I hit a checkpoint. So it looks like they don't expect you to sort of sneak round the side and the flanks sometimes. They don't have checkpoints there ready for you. You've got to pretty much go through the front. And so onto the shooting. You get a mixture of weapons from 2 assault rifles, a pistol, a shotgun, sniper rifle, missile launcher, SMG, Gauss rifle and a couple more. You will find yourself mainly using the North Korean assault rifle, the FY71, as there's a lack of ammo for your starting assault rifle lying around. Also, there's no ammo auto pickup system, so when you're looking for ammo you're going to be constantly looking down to the ground, hammering your use key to try and pick up all the dropped assault rifles to get extra ammo. I don't see why they couldn't put an auto ammo pickup system in the game, as I think it's desperately needed. You do get an on-the-fly weapon customization system that's recently been shown off in a Battlefield 2042 trailer, but Crysis did it first and it's really cool. The general shooting mechanics are just okay, you know, they're standard. Recoil isn't too much. I found the shotgun to be pretty satisfying to use when you get a kill with a shotgun. Instead of just making the enemy ragdoll and fall over, they do get pushed back a bit to actually give the shotgun that like extra power. It feels really nice to use. The enemy AI is a really mixed bag. They do communicate with each other to try and push your last known position, flank you, or just to fall back and hold an area. Though sometimes they can just end up walking into walls, getting stuck and T-posing. Also, sometimes the AI can be insane and just spot you through walls and trees from 200 meters or more away. It makes no sense and feels completely broken. What is really disappointing about how Crysis Remastered plays is that it feels like a dated, unpolished game. Considering that it originally came out in 2007, it's pretty shocking. It almost feels like this remaster was built from the original unpatched version 1.0 from 2007, or they didn't bother touching the gameplay elements at all and just focused on the graphics. One thing that I have to point out, the frogs. After the first level or two, there are frogs everywhere, constantly ribbiting away. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing it's a bug. I don't remember frogs everywhere from the original release, but it feels like frogs have like invaded the island and then they're just taking it over. The original Crysis was the benchmark game to test your system again. It was beautiful, demanding game that everyone loved. This remaster updates pretty much all the graphics. They enable ray tracing, put in DLSS, update the lighting, shadows, textures, pretty much everything. Though if you play the remaster, it doesn't really feel like it, apart from the water. If you do put the original side by side against the remaster, you can definitely see an upgrade. But it just doesn't feel like it. Of course the game does look good, but it doesn't have that same big impact that it did in 2007. There are better looking games out there. It also seems like that they have increased the saturation against the original game, and I don't think it looks as good. It is still a demanding game, especially when you have ray tracing enabled, but it doesn't feel worth using. If you want a game to really push your system, then Crysis Remastered will do it, but there are better looking games and better playing games out there you can use instead. Nothing has changed in regards to sounds from the original. The voice acting is pretty good, pretty much all the weapons sound bad in my opinion, like they just sound weak. While the sound effect on the technical side is fine, I think the sounds they just use are bad. Music is forgettable. I mean, I don't remember any music from the game at all after just finishing it. I did come across some sound issues with multiple music tracks playing on top of each other, and while driving tanks there were multiple issues with crackly sounds and sounds just cutting out completely. There are no microtransactions or DLC. So in conclusion, is Crysis Remastered worth your time? In my opinion, no, it's not. While the game is releasing on Steam on the 17th of September, it's been out on the Epic Store for over a year and it feels like an unpolished, slightly buggy game. This is even worse considering that the original came out in 2007. Crysis Remastered feels like a lazy remaster. While I know that a lot of work would have gone into updating the graphics and adding in ray tracing, there's so much more that should have been done to the gameplay. There's no quick save system, there's problems using the Nanosuit, AI is terrible, sound issues, I've even had people's faces just melt away in cutscenes, motion blur kept turning itself on and off, and even more issues. If you really want to experience Crysis, then yes, pick up this remaster. But with Crysis 2 and 3 also being remastered, it might be worth waiting for them, since I think from memory they are better games in terms of gameplay. If you want a game to benchmark your system against, then again, don't pick this up. There are better looking and more demanding games out there. I also found the game really frustrating to play and it got tedious at times. Now if you like this video then please give it a like, subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.